This episode is going to completely change the way you think about visioning or manifesting, and even the way that you may use your vision boards in the future. So let's get right into it. My name is Lisa Limata. I am your host for today. Welcome back to the Live Your Yes Life podcast. Each week I am here with my business partner, who also happens to be my amazing, incredible daughter, Kayla. And we are here to help you truly live your version of a yes life so that you can live an amazing life and have a business that funds it. So today we're going to talk about why your vision board isn't working and what you can do instead. Now, no shade to vision boards. I actually love creating them, and I think that they can be super helpful in the process. But if you've ever wondered, what is the missing piece? I put these things on my vision board each year. It's not happening. There is something that no one is talking about, and it literally is like me handing you the keys to the kingdom when it comes to doing this type of work. So most people make vision, I shouldn't say most people, but many people make vision boards, or they have New Year's resolutions, or they set their goals for the year. They have a list of what they want to have, right? So think right now for you, what are some of the things that you want to have? Maybe you want X amount of dollars in the bank, or it's at home, or it's traveling, or whatever it is for you. So we think about, okay, what do I want to attain this year? And sometimes when we approach it this way, it's like it can feel really far away, or it can feel unattainable because we're thinking about an experience that we have never had before. It feels like someday, right? I'm going to get there and then it's going to look like this. And when we approach our visioning work from this way, there is a missing piece. So today we're flipping it, and it is literally, as I said, going to change everything. So first off, I want to just kind of set the stage here for what I want to get into as we go through this. And actually, if you have a journal handy, if you're not listening on the go, which I know a lot of times you are, even if you are, come back to this. And I'm going to invite you to do, I'm going to give you a bit of homework, if you will, that is going to completely change the way that you think about visioning forever, okay? So the other day I was walking through Walmart, and they just took out their lawn and garden, the huge, what they do. They build a huge lawn and garden area, and I was walking past this gigantic wall of seeds. I mean, it was just like floor to ceiling, seeds after seeds after seeds, and it kind of just caught my eye. I don't know why. I just pay attention when things like this happen, and I was like, what is it about this that I'm not planting a garden. I don't need seeds, but I was really intrigued. And then later as I was thinking about it, I was like, I just think seeds are so cool. Bear with me. I know this is nerdy, but when you think about a seed, it literally contains everything it needs inside of it to become whatever it's going to become. So it's going to become a flower. It's going to become a garden. It's going to nourish people or the land or whatever. And so I just love the concept of the seed. All it needs is to be planted in soil and then just nourished with a little bit of water and just given the proper conditions. And that is going to become exactly what it is meant to be. And the reason I love it so much is because we humans are the same. We have everything we need already inside of us. We just need the right conditions. We just need the right environment in order to become what is already inside of us. And by the right conditions, I don't mean circumstances. I mean the right mindset, the remembering that we already have everything we need inside of us, because that is literally what unlocks the key to our potential. So you are the seed, right? Everything that you put on your vision board is attainable for you, and it's not because of something outside of you. It is literally because of who you are. So most people, we grow up being taught that reality creates us, if you will. We are a product of our environment. We are a product of our circumstances. And I'm not saying that that isn't true to some point. It absolutely is. We are 100% affected by the environment that we grow up in. We all have different opportunities for things. But we also hold, when we think about visioning and we think about growing our business, we think about the things we want, we tend to hold it as when I have that, then I will become who I want to be. So I often hear people tell me like, well, I'll feel confident when I have enough clients, or when I have the money in the bank, I will feel like an expert, or when I have achieved X, Y, and Z, then I will finally feel like this. But we actually have that backwards. So it's like, it would be like saying the seed is going to become a flower after the garden is in bloom. But it has to grow first, and then the garden is the result. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, we have to grow first, and then we get to have the manifestation of what we're looking for. We don't grow because we suddenly have created it, or we don't become it because we suddenly have created these results. So there's a passage in the Bible that says, where there is no vision, people perish. And I always thought this was so powerful, because it literally is telling us, like, we have to have vision to grow. Our vision is informing us to grow, to become who we want to be. I think sometimes that when I see people who, let's say they have retired and they no longer are going to work every day, but they haven't developed new passions. They haven't, continued to follow things that light them up, or to pursue things that they enjoy. Maybe they haven't learned how to cook, or explored traveling, and they kind of just tend to, like, their world becomes small. They stop learning, they stop growing. They're kind of just hanging out in their house. No vision, right? There isn't that vision pulling them forward, and you see their lives become smaller and smaller. Maybe you know someone who has chosen that. Then you think about someone else who's like, no, I'm going to keep learning, keep growing, keep exploring, keep creating. And you see that there is like this vitality that this person has, right? That's what vision does for us. Like, there is so much that we are here to do as humans and to accomplish in our lifetime. And we have to do this work of visioning to stay in that sense of aliveness, right? It's such important work. However, it's not about visioning in order just to get what we can have, right? We've all been taught if you work hard, you can get the thing and then you'll be good enough, right? It's like you can have the thing, you can do the thing, and then you will be. But that is backwards, okay? First, we have to be, then we do, then we can have. I remember when I started it was like eons ago, when I went to one of my very first like personal growth trainings, they had us create a be, do, have list. And essentially what you do, if you've never done this before, is you get out a notebook and you make a list of like all the things you want to have. And then you make a list of all the things you want to do. And then you make a list of all the things that you want to be. It's a cool exercise. I highly recommend doing it. And it's really illuminating when you think about the life that you want to create. But what I want you to hear in this is that the order it needs to go in is it is first you be, and who you are, determines what you do. Okay, so you be and then you do, and then you have, and the have is like the icing on the cake. So when you get clear on who you're being, whatever you naturally do, when it flows from that, you can't help but have the result that you're looking for. So what we do inside of Rise Leadership Circle is every single week, we are working with our clients, helping them master the art of becoming self-led. And this is the essence of what we do. It is living a life with intentionality. So we ask our clients all the time, so what is your intention for your life when you start to what is your highest intention for your life, I should say, when it comes to all the different areas of your life? And this is such a powerful question because it asks you to think about, who do you want to be? Right? What is the highest intention for who you want to be in your life, in your relationships, in your work, in your, spiritual journey, in your health and well-being? And when you start to look from this lens, it is like your world just expands. Because we realize that, oh wait, I don't actually have to wait until my circumstances change for me to be who I want to be right now. And this is the exciting part. So we're not just going through our days kind of just like responding to our circumstances like, okay, I have a circumstance, so therefore, because I have that circumstance, I can't become this person. A circumstance could be anything outside of you, right? Maybe it's a money circumstance, or you've got something going on with your family, you have something going on with your health, right? We all have circumstances, these moments where life is lifing. And we often hold this belief that like, I can't because. So just notice right now, what is something you've been telling yourself that is your version of I can't because? Think about what's a big goal or something that's on your vision board right now that you've been like, yeah, this is in the future, it's this future version of me, but I can't right now because the money's not there. Or I can't right now because the kids are young. Whatever that is, fill in the blank, but just bring that to mind for yourself. And what I'd really love for you to see in this is that actually, when we start to live from this place of asking ourselves, what is my highest intention for my life? It informs, who do I get to be in my life? So right now, in this circumstance, who is it that I choose to be? How do I choose to show up for myself? How do I choose to show up for my family? How do I choose to show up for my clients? How do I choose to show up and do the vision work that informs who I become? That's the power of living your life based on deciding intentionally who you get to be, okay? So here's where this really comes to life for you. Instead of thinking about visioning as what can I have, or like pictures on a vision board, I want you to think about, who am I here to be? So we're going to take your vision and do this inside out. Now, you could do this as a meditation. You could do this as you and your journal where you pour your favorite cup of tea and you just get still. But I really want you to start looking at, when you are living your life from your highest intention, who are you being in every single area of your life? So I'm going to give you 5 areas to think about. So here's what I said. If you have notes handy, you could write this down. Otherwise, come back to this later. But I'm inviting you to take this on as a practice. So what is your highest intention for your relationship to yourself, to your well-being? How do you want to honor yourself? How do you want to trust yourself? Who do you get to be when it comes to your self-care, your health, your wellness? What is your highest intention for that part of your life? Maybe something's coming to you right now. I invite you to write it down and really to sit with this. What would it look like if you just started to be that today? And then also I want you to look at the area of your relationships, okay? So this can be your significant other, it could be your kids, it could be your parents, it could be your best friends, your brothers and sisters, like anyone, your people. Who are your people in your life? What is your highest intention for who you get to be in those relationships? And then you can start to think about, how do you want to show up to these relationships? What would you naturally do from that way of being? And if you were to do that, what would you naturally have? What would be the icing on the cake for those relationships? Would you have a new level of closeness with your significant other or with other relationships in your life? What would that begin to look like? Then you want to do this also for your relationship to that which is greater. So whatever your personal belief system is, maybe it's God, source, universe, maybe you simply believe in consciousness or a version of your higher self. Who do you want to be when it comes to deepening that part of you? What would you do from that way of being? What would be the natural result of that? Then I want you to take this into your mission or your calling. What do you feel like you're really here for in this lifetime? Who did you come to be? And when you are living from this place of highest intention, what difference does your life make in the world? Who does it touch? What gets to happen because you choose to walk this walk? Who do you feel like you really came to be? And what happens when you allow yourself to be that today? And take it deeper, right? For each one of these is like, if I really think about when I am living from my highest intention, this way of being, what would I naturally do? What would I like? I can't help but do that when I'm connected to this intention. And then what would you naturally have? Right? This is why I say some of those things that you think about having, they become the icing on the cake because you change internally first. You start living from this place of intention. You start walking in this full alignment with yourself and your truth. And you can't help but have results of that. This is where the money begins to flow in a way that's meaningful for you, in a way that's like in full alignment, or the clients, or whatever it is that you're wanting to have. And you'll start to see this natural unfolding. And then the fifth area that I want you to do this on is around your money and time. Okay, so who are you being with your resources? How do you honor what you've already been given? What is your highest intention for who you get to be with money? What is your highest intention for how you get to spend your time? How do you choose to show up as that every single day? And then notice, when you do that, what would you naturally have? So please take this on. It is a life-changing exercise. And here's the thing. When I taught this, obviously this is a condensed version of it, but this was one of the sessions at our live event that we hosted last week. One of the participants stood up after it. I actually walked them through a visualization exercise in the moment. And one of the participants stood up and he said, I have always looked at my goals and things as something I had to try to get to, as something I had to keep trying to work really, really hard, and they felt really far away from me. He said, but today I realized that it all starts with me, and I get to be that version of me right now today. I get to be powerful today. I don't have to wait until I have that in order to be in my power. And everyone in the room was just like, yes, like it's just so amazing. And that's exactly it, right? You don't have to wait until you have something to be in your power, but you can be empowered today when you choose this. It just changes visioning completely upside down. And then I would say still create your vision board. It's such a powerful exercise to go through. And then you get to think about it from this perspective. All of this is flowing to me as I naturally get to step out and be the person I want to be. So it always starts here. It is be, and then we do, and then we have. So I hope you will take this on. When we are living with this sense of intention, we can't help but feel alive. We can't help but have a sense of vitality and excitement for our life. And how do we know if we're not? We tend to want to numb out, right? We tend to, when we're caught up in the circumstances of our life, what typically happens is we just kind of have that overwhelming feeling, right? Notice if you're scrolling or numbing or buffering. And instead of making yourself wrong or judging yourself for it, can you use it as an invitation to simply come back to, okay, wait a minute, who do I want to be in this moment? How do I want to show up and rise to the occasion of this moment right now? And truly, this is you remembering that you are like that little seed in the packet, right? You have everything you need within you. And your version of planting it in the soil is intention, right? It is your intention is literally what plants the seed in the soil. And then choosing to be who you want to be right now is like the nourishment. It's like the water. It's like that choosing every single day. Who do I want to be in this moment? Who do I want to be today? What is my highest intention for today? How I want to live my life? What choices do I want to make? And you can start to ask yourself this every single day. So you can look at this in each of the 5 areas of life that I gave you. It's a beautiful place to start, and then everything else gets to grow from that. So if this landed for you, as always, we love hearing from you after these episodes. Leave a comment below, send us a message. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook. And this is the work that we do every single day with our clients inside the circle. So the circle is our mastermind where we do this work, right? It's both the strategy of building a business and creating our goals. And it is also the work of learning how to lead ourselves, learning how to live our life with intention and to be the curators of the life that we want to live now, not waiting for someday, not focusing our efforts on just working really, really hard and hoping that someday we're actually going to feel fulfilled, but instead we create from a life that is fulfilling. So if you want to know more about that, please reach out to us. We would love to talk to you about it. You can talk with us or one of the coaches on our team to see if it's right for you. And I really, truly hope that you will take this on. So if this was meaningful for you, please subscribe, give this a like, and if it feels good, leave us a message. Let us know how this landed.